Welcome to the SVG-TV news for today, Monday, August 15th. I am Khalil Kato with the details. This morning, a man was shot and killed in the new housing development area in Lomans Bay. SVG-TV News understands that the shooting occurred just before noon. The deceased, who has been identified as a resident of Owia, was reportedly sitting in a porch when he was shot. According to residents, the deceased was visiting the community at the time of the incident. Meanwhile, Rose Place fisherman Winsbert Harry, who recently relocated to Lomans Bay, says the murder has left the residents of the community heartbroken. In February, the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines handed over keys to houses at Lomans Bay to residents of Rose Place who had to relocate to allow for the construction of the new port in the city. In an interview with SVG-TV News today, Harry condemned the violence, and he has also renewed the call for government again to assist the fisherfolk with proper lighting at the beach for security purposes.
Not welcoming. I'm very shocked about it because I'm passionate about persons moving from Rose Place to Lomans Bay, and to see this, I think it is left the community now at a heartbreaking, because we never expected this, and to see now we recall our first incident like this is really heart-taking, and as a fisherman, and this is why we are calling for water, light and security at Lomans Bay, because if this could happen in the community where persons live, and you have hundreds of fisher folks going to be dwelled on the beach, we really need this assistance. So I'm pleading again, and I'm begging again to whoever ministry in charge, please put water and light in the beach of Lomans Bay, because we will have persons coming from Camlin Park, we have persons coming from Great House, we have persons coming from Lower Camlin Park who will be using the beach, and we even have, and we need persons who coming from this community coming to the beach. So
Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves is defending the new recommendations which will be used to govern the re-employment of unvaccinated teachers and school staff. The recommendations issued from the Public Service Commission outlines the measures unvaccinated persons will have to undergo in order to return to school. It includes mandatory weekly COVID-19 testing and mask wearing at all times when on school compounds. The recommendations also notes teachers will be re-employed on a contract basis. Speaking on Star Radio this morning, PM Gonsalves says the use of contracts is necessary to ensure that rehired teachers comply with the recommendations.
The issue is here, practically. You didn't take the vaccine, so you abandon the job under the law. You come back. You employed, not on any contractor. Who is to say that when you say yes, you're going to take the test? You say yes. I'm going to take it once a week or whenever I'm by the chief medical officer. You may decide that after you get that you ain't taking the test anymore. Then what happens? Under the existing rule, they will have to have you suspended because you're following the rules. The issues should be there to length of time that you may be suspended on full salary or half salary.
PM Gonsalves once again urged dismissed teachers to reapply, giving the assurance that they will not be disadvantaged by being reemployed.
I haven't heard about the numbers who have applied, but I said to them, you're not going to be disadvantaged by applying. It doesn't mean that if you still think that our position was, the government position was unconstitutional, continue with your case. But that doesn't prevent you from work. Because if you're employed back, your new service will be added to your previous service for pension purposes.
Meanwhile, Leader of the Opposition, Dr. Godwin Friday, is describing the government's invitation to dismissed teachers to reapply as disrespectful. Members of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union staged a picket action in Kingstown last Thursday, calling for dismissed teachers to be reinstated with benefits. In a national address, Dr. Friday says it is unfortunate that the public servants were fired as a result of what he calls a misguided vaccine mandate.
I have called for their reinstatement. Prime Minister Gonsalves recently announced that teachers would have to reapply to get their jobs back. So there is no guarantee of them getting their jobs back. The government may pick and choose who to rehire. To tell teachers that they must reapply for their jobs to get their jobs back is disrespectful to them, for they have served long and selflessly and will continue to devote their lives to helping our children. The punitive measures against unvaccinated teachers and healthcare workers must stop. All over the world, governments, businesses, and other organizations have rejected COVID-19 vaccine mandates and have earnestly begun the process of learning to live with the disease.
The opposition leader also criticized the recent memo from the Ministry of Health, which stated that COVID-19 booster shots will be mandated for healthcare workers to be taken at 5-month intervals. The health minister made the announcement recently that the memo was sent in error. Dr. Friday says the release of the memo is an embarrassment for the ministry.
The Gonzalez government mishandled the COVID crisis from the beginning, and they continue to do so. They are out of touch with the concerns of the people because they have been isolated in a bubble for far too long, shielded from the everyday concerns of the people. Note the recent embarrassing episode in which a memo from the Ministry of Health, signed by the permanent secretary, indicated that health workers would have to take a COVID-19 vaccine booster shot every 5 months, only for the minister to deny it the following day, saying that there was a transcription error and that no decision had been made or taken by the government. How could this be the result of a transcription error? Was the cabinet meeting conducted in French or another foreign language? Do you believe that explanation? I don't.
9 hand tractors and tillers were handed over to farmers in North Leeward on Thursday as part of a revolving program under the Ministry of Agriculture. Speaking at the handing over of the equipment, the Minister of Agriculture, Soboto Caesar, says this initiative would allow for the recipients to till lands belonging to other farmers. He notes the farmers' work would be reviewed by an extension officer, and there is a system already in place for government to make payments.
They will go around in the community, they will speak to the farmers will register with them. The names that are listed will be taken to an extension officer. The extension officer will then verify that the work is to be done. We'll have a conversation with the farmer. The recipient of the hand tractor will conduct the work, and it will be reviewed again by the extension officer, and the government will make the payment to the owner of the hand tractor. We intend for this to be a revolving program. Therefore, the Ministry of Agriculture will be working out a monthly repayment for these hand tractors. And of course, we will be providing the demand for them because you'll be working with the system that is already in place for tractor services nationally. 2 of these hand tractors will be handed over to the Medicinal Cannabis Authority at a later date, and those hand tractors will be used on the Top Hill Lasham project. We were not able to give every single farmer a hand tractor, but in our calculation, 9 tractors at once definitely is a big go.
Area Representative Carlos James notes the program is part of the rebuilding of North Leeward, which will provide farmers with the support required at this time.
It's in the handing over of these 9 tillers to farmers within the North Leeward district. In fact, among the farmers, we have 1 female who will be a recipient of the hand tillers, and she's a part of a youth farming group in Spring Village. Her name is Larissa. And the tremendous work that we're seeing from young people, including women in agriculture in the area, is really something that has to be commended. And following the eruption of the Lasso Fray, and we asked farmers to move into their farms in terms of the support we have been giving to farmers, both in production support as well as to assist farmers who would have lost an income during the period of the eruption.
Patients were relocated to the male surgical ward at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital over the weekend. Speaking with the Agency for Public Information, Hospital Administrator Grace Walters says she is pleased with the work done, as the renovations have not only enhanced the look of the ward, but also its safety as well. Extensive rehabilitative work was carried out on the ward, including bathrooms, nurses' station facilities, doors, windows, floors, painting, and an improvement in the overall aesthetics of the ward.
Refurbishing the hospital for some time now. We started with the pediatric wards and we are here. We have not yet completed, but we intend to go forward with our activities in refurbishing. We completed the male medical ward last year, and currently all our male patients are nursed on that ward because we had to merge the two areas in order to facilitate refurbishment of this male surgical ward. So we are looking forward to moving back or relocating the surgical patients to the ward during this weekend. We were hoping to do that later today, but there are certain things that still has to be put in place and should be completed by the end of the day so that the relocation on the male surgical ward can take place early in the morning or at least by Saturday afternoon.
Minister of Health Sinclair Prince says the work on the ward was a follow-up to what was done on the male medical ward.
From the contractor. You know the condition that this ward was in before. It is really a follow-up to what we did on the male medical ward. You'll have seen pictures of that ward and the improvements that were made there. The facilities here are fantastic, you know. The nurses station, other areas for use by patients and also the nurses have been improved considerably. You heard that the painting has been done to uplift the area. I'm sure that nurses would like to come to this ward now to work. They feel better, the spirit is higher when you come in to this ward. We intend to do more work, of course. We will be working on the mat ward and also the female medical, which is at the moment, I think, being used as an isolation center. All right, you have work to do on that. And other places, other parts of the hospital will be doing work on. We intend to do some work on the exterior. We do some power washing and some painting, some repairs to the structure, etc.
The health minister also says although the acute care hospital will be underway soon, there would still be improvements done to the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital.
I know we are going to leave this area to go to the acute referral hospital at Adamsville soon, in the next 3 years or so. But in the meantime, we have to do some work here because in any event, we're going to keep it as a center of excellence for maternal and child health here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Of course, I had mentioned before that we will be doing some negotiations with the public sector as to how we would use the operating theaters and the like. But this is all part of our modernization initiative here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. As far as the health sector is concerned, modernization which includes the upgrade of the facilities, expansion of the services. Just yesterday we were in the North Leeward area where we saw the completion of 2 smaller clinics, the Coalsdale Clinic and the Rosehall Clinic, which will be open soon. We opened clinics recently in Union Island, in Barrowley. We intend to do more work in Georgetown. We are doing work at Evesham. We have a lot of work. We have touched every single health facility in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
The work on the male surgical ward was carried out by Bragza and Barry's Building Services. 36 children from the communities of Edinburgh and Otley Hall were given the opportunity to learn about the social history and heritage of their communities. This through a summer program which was hosted under the theme Loving and Caring for Our Community, which was organized by members of an Edinburgh-Otley Hall community group. Participants were engaged in information gathering on such aspects of the community's history like King Jaja, the bungalows, Fort Charlotte, and unique community names such as Montebello Estate, Cox Heath, and Ross Castle. Participants were guided by facilitators who provided information on the construction of their family trees, as well as to become engaged in the recycling of some everyday trash. Table mats, baskets, toys, and candle stands are some of the items which have been produced. The summer program was convened at the Panyard in Edinburgh. 2 Layu residents were arrested and charged by police over the weekend. Adroy McDowell, a 20-year-old laborer, was charged with the offense of damage to property. According to police investigations, McDowell allegedly and without lawful excuse damaged a glass sliding window valued at $400 EC by smashing it with his hand. The window was the property of a 57-year-old laborer of the same address. The incident occurred on August 11th in Layu at about 3 p.m. In an unrelated incident, Najee Berkeley, a 24-year-old laborer, was charged with assault occasioning actual bodily harm. According to investigations, the accused allegedly assaulted a 26-year-old laborer of the same address by slamming him to the ground. The incident occurred at Layu at about 10:50 p.m. on May 20th. Both men are expected to appear before the Kingstown Magistrates Court to answer the charges.